Welcome one and all to episode 7 of Teatime. I'm Petter, and with me I've got my two co-hosts, Steven.
Hello.
And James.
Hello.
And the discussion topic in today's episode of our Attack on Titan podcast is chapter 125, called Sunset. And I feel like I start all of these episodes the exact same way, but maybe I'll try for in the future to get some variation in there. Anyway, let's just get into it. It's very like structured into very clear scenes. Mm-hmm. I feel like, and they don't like go back. They don't go back to a scene that they've been to within the chapter and stuff like that. It's very very clean in that regard, and I really enjoy that. And it's also very much like a build-up chapter. Yes. I feel.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with that, at least, especially with this chapter, because I really enjoyed like a lot of the character interactions we got in this. So, so right off the bat, we kind of get like a little confirmation, I suppose, that Annie wasn't in Stohess district, which makes a lot of sense.
This is great. Like, come right out and confirm where she is. We don't have to wait a long time for that.
Right. I had actually like between this or the previous chapter and this one, I had done a little digging and kind of narrowed it down to it being either Stohess district or Trost district.
That's right. I remember you were saying that.
Right. Yeah, we talked a little bit about that in the chat, but yeah, I guess it was Stohess district, which makes perfect sense because that's where they were when they battled in the city and all that. Mm-hmm. So, what do you guys have to say about this scene?
Like the first few pages.
Yeah.
I mean, it's much more of a establishing, what the area is like. Now that the rumbling has happened. What do you guys think?
Oh, for one, I like seeing Hitch in again. I really think Hitch is a kind of fan favorite, or particularly like the Japanese fan base. I think they really like her.
That's possible, yeah.
From my interactions with very little Japanese people, but some of them have liked her, and anyway, so it's nice to see her, and it makes sense that she would be the one to interact with Annie first and all that, and their history together. But before all that, it gets a little bit into what the Eldians on the island are thinking. Some are quick or understandably, because it is his fault, blaming Eren for all this, but then others are like, well, this is what we have to do. This is what's right? And it's kind of they're taking a mindset that just seems like destruction is the only way. I mean, there are those who are irrationally thinking. I mean, I think Hitch is one of them, and I don't know who this guy is next to her, but
right.
The other soldier corp guy. I'm not sure who he is, but they seem to be very much in trying to keep everyone calm and not go anarchy and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you, as you mentioned, you talked a little bit about Hitch, and I think it's cool. It's interesting for her to get this kind of attention now because, she is definitely a likable character. Like, and so I understand like if she is a fan favorite. Like, I haven't personally really seen too much
in Japan. But
right? That makes sense.
I don't think America really cares for her.
Probably, maybe, yeah. but yeah, she is definitely a likable character, and but she is like nonetheless she is a very minor character, all things considered. Yeah, so it's nice to see her get a little bit more screen time like this, and that's something I feel like Isayama is pretty good at overall, like giving some pretty unlikely characters more to do, pretty much. So I definitely like that.
I agree.
And so Annie goes inside to get weapons and recruits, and she sees the.
Well, Hitch goes inside.
Hitch goes inside.
Did I say? Yep. Oh, Did I say Annie?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Obviously, I meant Hitch. Sorry. She goes inside. Yeah. I had Annie on my mind. That's why.
Don't we all? Just kidding.
And we see Annie's tracks, and she sees them, and what I really love here, that I think is super cool, is that when Hitch walks into this room where Annie is, and Annie kind of ambushes her, she uses her ring the ring that's made for like Titan
pricking.
Yeah, she uses it as a weapon to threaten Hitch.
Oh, I didn't notice that the first time.
It's a nice little detail. Yeah.
Yeah. That it is. But what I like even more than that is the part next to her. Hitch is like, man, you feel you're like you're so weak. You're like an old woman or something like that. It's
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
She just like
Exactly.
throws her down. I mean, it's true. Like, there's no way that she would have any sort of strength or ability to do that. The technique is perfect, of course.
Yeah.
Perfect Danny there. But yeah, I like that. I like that moment and kind of the sass and the burns thrown back at each other. It's very nice. I mean, I'll be honest. When Hitch was first introduced, I wasn't too, because she was supposed to kind of be the almost a jerk in a way. But as time's going on, and in the little screen times that she has gotten a lot better. Clearly,
Yeah. I think she's got a really nice arc throughout.
Yeah.
Even though, as you said, it's in the background but it's very nice. Anyway.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
It is she is a minor character.
But yeah, I mean, not everyone can have the same spotlight. But at the same time, like, they kind of go back to how they were because they were roommates, correct? They were roommates.
Yeah.
Yes, they were.
And they had that same sort of banter going on. So it's good to see that again. And or good to you, Kyle. It's just, I don't know. I guess it was inevitably going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I do think that this was a good, this entire scene is a good establishment for Annie's return after so many years for us.
For all of us. Yeah, for the readers and the characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I agree.
Right. And I think that Hitch was a good character to quote unquote pair up with Annie.
Exactly.
For sure.
That's what I was saying. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, and seeing Annie this week, it's kind of sad. but it does make sense.
So weak that Hitch could take her down. I mean, Hitch has grown, I'm sure, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm kind of curious to see in the anime what this liquid that's covering all of Annie's going to look like. Like, is it just going to look like water, or is it going to have some other type of I like,
know.
Because it's kind of hard to tell from the black and whites.
I think it's going to be clear.
It's probably kind of sticky.
Yeah.
Well, I think it has a little bit of thickness to it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as fluid as water per se.
Yeah,
from,
probably not.
From the way it looks.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know.
But yeah, so with Annie threatening to transform into a Titan, even though Hitch kind of doesn't believe it, she still agrees to help Annie, which is nice.
Yeah, it's nice. I mean, yeah, like I said, their kind of bonds kind of shine in this, and
right.
I mean, she could easily turned her in, but
true, she really easily could have. But I wonder what kind of bonds they did have, because I feel like Annie, before she encased herself in that crystal, she wasn't really one to talk a lot and build bonds with people,
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, does Lost Girls count? It's not the same artist, of course, not the same writer.
It's I wouldn't definitely consider that canon.
It's
probably
not canon, but I mean, just looking outside a little bit.
Yeah.
But because obviously I haven't read the entire manga.
I think,
only seen
isn't
the
there an
anime.
OVA of the anime where with Hitch?
With Annie as the main protagonist, that is based on the Lost Girls manga.
That's what I thought. And since that's animated, I mean,
You think
I
it's
don't know.
canon because it's animated?
I mean, this isn't One Piece here. This is
Right.
they have a. I mean, One Piece has a terrific story. You all should watch it. But anyway, this is a very story heavy show, and it's not like they're going to take the time to animate anything unless one, there's interest, or two, there's story significant, or not story significance, but it builds characters up. You know what I mean?
True.
But I mean, there's always filler arcs, I suppose. But
yeah.
anyway, I guess I'm going on a tangent now. But that's what I think. That's what I think about when they're with their bonds. If you don't mind me saying,
Right.
that kind of built them up.
That's fair. And I also I just thought of something else that could have been a reason for why they would have a bond, is that even though Annie isn't the type to make friends, Hitch very much is. So she could have kind of forced herself onto Annie in a way, making friends with her. Even though Annie wasn't that into it, I feel like with a personality like Hitch's, she could have made friends with Annie, possibly.
Totally.
Just because of how outgoing she is.
Right, I agree.
And here we learn something pretty interesting, is that even though Annie doesn't seem to have aged, or like, her hair hasn't grown, she's still just as tall as she was when she was 15 or 16. Or I guess girls can stop growing at that age, but she doesn't seem to have aged. Like,
Right.
time doesn't seem to have passed. But she still has memories of what happened when she was in the crystal. She was able to observe Hitch and Armin as they were talking to her.
That's what surprised me the most. Like, and they're
Yeah.
in the stable when this is happening. By the way, they're gonna escape on horses, or on a horse, I should say.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But they're just kind of chatting, and she's like, I finally get to stop having to listen to all your stupid complaints. And she's like, wait, you were Conscience? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, a bit. Now, help me explain this, because then Annie goes into what she could remember. It felt like a dream for her, but was her conscience only there when Hitch and Armin were in the room, or at least anybody was talking to her, or was it just the whole time that
Yeah, go ahead. The way I interpreted it was that she only had this consciousness kind of during, like, when there was something to observe, in a way, at least, because
Okay.
she says something about other than that, though, it was all the same in darkness, something like.
I mean, that's what I got out of it. I just wasn't sure if I was getting the wrong
So
message, you know
basically,
what I mean?
only focusing on when she can hear something.
So it seems, yeah. So other than that, like, maybe she was somehow conscious.
Yeah, I'll admit I'm surprised that she can hear through that crystal.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know what the material is, so that's.
I know, but like,
Yeah.
crystal is pretty hard.
Yeah, if it is like actual crystal, yeah. True. I mean, it is hard. That we know. It's very, very hard.
Yes.
Yeah, so she was able to hear all that. That's kind of fun. Or, well, not for Hitch, apparently. She looks
kinda
very
horrifying.
worried. Like, when she learns it, her expression is very like, oh my god, what have I said? What does she know?
And their bonds have only grown deeper in these 4 years, because she just heard all the complaints of men that she has.
Oh yeah.
But what I like about this the most is that she's heard all of Armin, or at least noticed Armin was there. So I don't know. I mean, the Armin Annie shippers,
Is it still floating? Is the ship floating?
This ship is definitely floating. It may even be moving. But anyway.
Oh boy.
Or just friendship. I can deal with that.
Let's see. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to an actual ship.
Sure, I mean, yeah. Not at all. And it's just interesting that she understands what's going on outside because of what these two have been saying. For the most part, a decent understanding of what's going on.
Absolutely, yeah.
So
Yeah, that's
I guess-
and it's very, like, I don't want to use the word convenient, because that kind of has a negative ring to it, but
Yeah.
it is convenience, but it's good. Like, I don't mind it.
Right. I agree.
And like, yeah, because Armin specifically has been there a lot, just talking about everything that's going on. So that's handy. And we get some very appreciated, or very backstory that I'm very happy to get for Annie here.
Yeah, absolutely. We get a better look at her life before she left.
Exactly.
And I think that is much needed. Much needed
Very much so.
time spent on her since we've waited this long, right?
Right. I mean, we've before she was frozen in crystal, we had these glimpses into her previous life, but not anything concrete. And we didn't know about her real parentage, her parents, and how she was technically an orphan and whatnot.
Right.
So it's great that we get that. I mean, is it too little, too late? No, I mean, I think it's fine where it is, but it's nice to see Annie opening up after all these years. It's
Yeah.
kind of like just letting the air out
Precisely. Yeah, she just needs to vent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you've been talking to me for 4 years. Now it's my turn.
Yeah, and like this backstory, it like I can think of two things that it really kind of explains some things that we've seen previously. Firstly, obviously the reason why she's so like introverted and like to herself during the training days and like in the early chapters of the story, like we get an explanation for why she is that way. And then obviously we also get to see why in the Marley arc, when they flash back to how the warriors infiltrate Paradise Island, and after Marcel dies, and I think Annie and Bertolt maybe both want to leave, go back, retreat, and now we understand more specifically why Annie didn't want to keep going, because she just wanted to go back to her father. And then in the end, it was Reiner that was able to convince them to keep going anyway. So that's very nice to get those like the reasons behind all that.
Yeah, I mean, and I felt like Annie. I never understood why she wanted to do all this besides just orders. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I, as we were leading to this chapter, I was wondering, what was going to be her motivation? What was going to keep her going forward, other than just like, hey guys, I'm back. But now, but like you said, now we finally get that. She wants to help her dad, and and I think that may lead to trying to stop Eren, because obviously, I don't think the dad's be able to survive a lot of giant feet stomping.
Precisely.
I guess we'll find out, hopefully.
Well, of course, and yes, I was also going to touch on that a bit. Like, obviously, now that she knows everything that's going on, she wants her daddy. She has to go against Eren in order to keep him alive. So, like, in what way she's going to team up, if she's going to team up with anyone, or whatever she's going to do at all, I don't really know but she's definitely going to make an effort to save the world.
Yeah.
I think.
I personally think it'll have something to do with the Titan powers, the 9 Titans, but I'm not sure, because like I said before, and we all know, Eren already has like 3 of them, so doesn't really.
The female Titan is still interesting though, because it seems kind of in a way like a jack of all trades type of Titan, like in a way I think you could interpret it that way, because it's got the same kind of crystallizing power that the Warhammer does, although not not as efficient.
Not as a weapon, I guess.
No, but exactly, it's not as efficient. So and it's got the same kind of, or not the same, but it's got like Titan controlling abilities like the Founder does, but again, not as efficient. And it's got it's a very good fighter like the Attack Titan is, but maybe not quite as efficient there either. But it's got like a little bit of everything. It seems kind of. It's got the hardening powers as well, like the armor, but again, not as efficient.
Can she look into the future of future holders of the female Titan?
I mean, maybe. I mean,
no, I'm just kidding. You bring it because we have discussed in the past, what is the female Titan's speciality, or is she just a Titan with boobs? Like, is that
right. So I'm thinking maybe there's something more that she can do that we just haven't seen yet.
And I would like that greatly.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Armin will have some sort of idea to utilize that.
That's possible.
In my mind.
Right.
It's possible. I mean, it may not happen, but that's what I'm thinking.
Oh, it's definitely possible. Yeah.
I wonder how that interaction would go.
Yeah. So I've seen some theories. I don't know how many people actually believe in it, seriously, but I think it's fun. So I wanted to bring it up just to see what you guys think of it. So we learn early on in her backstory here, she says, they say my blood test showed my mother had been having an affair with an Eldian or something. Meaning that her father is an Eldian.
Right.
But her mother isn't. Now, a lot of people have been claiming that it's possible that her father is Eren Kruger.
What?
No.
Which is a stretch, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, what? not everyone has to be known. Like
I know, and I agree with that. Like,
not everyone has to be related to everybody else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of a Star Wars problem too. But anyway,
Star Wars is about Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
they do have very similar eyes. So like I can see that as a reason, like that's a fair reason. And if he had impregnated a woman right before he let Grisha eat him, that would probably line up with the right age. So, maybe. But
I mean,
it's not something I
always
believe in.
potential. There's potential. I mean, especially when when the author mentions it. I mean, not Kruger, but just that it was an Eldian or something.
Right. I mean, I don't know.
Like maybe he's trying to not hit, but like put that there and then have it be a big reveal or something like that. But I'm not exactly sure what the benefit or what. I mean, I'm sure he would find something, but I think what the biggest thing is, and obviously the mom could have this trait, but it's Annie's nose. It's so distinct.
Oh yeah.
That
True,
I mean,
true.
if Kruger had that nose, then it's like no, okay. I mean, there's no doubt.
Right.
No doubt. I'm sorry, but the child is yours. Anyway, it's an interesting theory. I think it's something to keep in mind, but
Right.
I'm not going to place bets on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
I
I
wouldn't
wouldn't
put money
either.
down.
But it's still, I think, somewhat interesting to at least think
Yeah,
about.
sure.
So after Annie talks about her past, we also get to see a short little scene woven into this one, kind of in the internment zone, Liberio, with Annie's father and a bunch of other Marley and Eldians. And Annie's father or adoptive father, when he's resisting these guards, like in that last panel in that scene, that kind of makes me very worried because
Me too.
the guards have weapons and
Yeah.
Yeah, they did kind of, or he did cut away from that.
yeah. So I'm super I can't wait to see what's gonna happen here. Like, is he gonna make it?
It could go two ways. One, he gets shot and dies, or he's able to. They like rise up against the Marleyans in that sense. And
Right. That
something
would be
happens.
interesting.
But what this all is I don't know, it's just showing more conflict between the Marleyans and the Eldians. Like, correct me if you think otherwise, but I feel like it's building even more tension. What Aaron's doing is not solving the problem; it's building even more tension. I mean, understandably,
Like
no one
right
wants
now,
to
at
die.
least for sure. Yeah.
Right now, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I wonder if Isayama is doing that on purpose. Well, I mean, he's obviously doing it on purpose, but is this really not meant to stop the strife? Is there another way to stop? Is there a situation where everyone could be like Gabby and Sasha's family and
Right.
see eye to eye? I don't know. Like, it just seems like that's less and less likely. But
I just think this chapter solidifies that we're still getting to the boiling point. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
Or it's just gonna be like one really long boiling point that we're already on.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's kind of the way I see it. But
could
yeah.
also be. But nothing has, like, snapped yet.
No? You don't think so?
No, I still think that we're still... Well, I mean, this entire chapter's been set up.
Right,
So
but
that's what makes
we're
me
still
say
in.
that.
I feel like we'll still got the rumbling happening as this whole thing is going on,
Okay.
and that's kind of a major, like a very major thing, in fact. Or what do you mean? Like what do you think would be like bigger than the rumbling? Or I guess it could be something more like a character interaction, or is that what you're meaning? Or
Well, what I have in mind right now, we haven't seen... I mean, it's been like at least 2 chapters, I think, since we've seen the forming of Aaron's Titan. Or new Titan, I should say. Like, I think that's going to be the big, what I call the boiling point of this arc of the anime. Like, even more than what
Or
the
of the
rumbling
story.
is. Or the story, sure. Just more... It's more climactic to me than the rumbling.
seeing his face.
No, just seeing, like, the Titan, wreck some stuff. what is this new Titan going
whatever
to do?
whatever he's doing.
Yeah, like what is Aaron's what are his actions going to be once we see this fully formed Titan of his?
Right.
I understand where you're coming from, and to an extent I actually agree, because there is a point where the climax does reach its climax. But what I want to say is we're in the climax. This is the climax. Things are building up. I mean, tensions are high, rising. People don't know what is going on. And we do have these moments that are building up to something. But I think it's not right to say that we are in the climax. Well,
so you're saying that we're not in the climax yet?
No.
Okay.
We are in the climax.
All right.
Right.
There you go.
But yeah, like I also understand where you're coming from, Stephen, with that. And I think obviously whenever we do go back to Aaron and we get interactions between Aaron and whoever is interacting with him, if it comes to that, whatever it is, whatever is gonna go down, that obviously is going to be a very major point, of course. Right. So yeah, that's gonna be exciting.
Because right now we've gotten everybody reacting to the rumbling. Right?
Yeah.
Like we have, for example, in this chapter, we have Annie riding with, I can't remember her name off the top of my head.
Hitch.
Hitch, on a horse. They're just outside the rumbling. There's a particular panel of them, at the bottom on the level with all the houses, and then above them for 2/3 of the panel is the Colossal Titans.
Right.
So we just have that perspective for what I think is the majority of like the last 2 chapters.
Yeah. These both of these 2 chapters have been very much like to set things up, kind of. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But yeah, the next scene in order of in the chapter is the one with Keith Shadis and the recruits. The ones he saved in the previous chapter, and also even earlier the ones that beat him up on the order of Flock.
I didn't think we'd get this. I
didn't
thought,
either.
I thought we had a little snippet of him saving it, and I thought that was the end of it. But it wasn't bad. It's so short, and it's just like okay,
it's
there.
only 2 pages long.
Yeah,
it is very short, but it's also like, is it really only 2 pages? Yeah, it is. Oh my god.
Yes.
Somehow it felt like more than 2 pages, because I guess there's kind of a lot of talking in these 2 pages, but I like it. It's kind of a somber kind of nice interaction between Keith and this specific one of the recruits who feels like he's indebted to Keith since he saved their life from the Titans earlier. And Keith has this, he seems to have some type of plan that might include him sacrificing himself and these recruits infiltrating the Jaegerists, maybe in order to get the upper hand eventually, but kind of waiting for the opportune moment somehow.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's the reason why this is here.
Like that seems like what Keith is telling them to do, and what he's kind of given up on. Like, he doesn't seem to think he can do anything himself, because the Jaegerists wouldn't let him join.
Well, they're not going
them.
to trust him.
Yeah, of course. And he doesn't want to escape, because he doesn't want to, as he says, like, he doesn't want to spend his days shitting on a mountain or whatever he says, like something like that. Yeah, so I'm really curious, like, because this is going to lead somewhere as well. Like, like after the previous chapter, we weren't sure that, as you said, James, we weren't sure this was going to lead anywhere specific, but right now it's clear that it's definitely going to be something. And it was kind of an unexpected turn of events, I think. It's very, very nice. I like it a lot. But it would also require, like, if these recruits would play like the waiting game, play like kind of acting as if they're on the side of the Jaegerists and whatnot, that seems like a very a plan that would take a very long time. And do we have that kind of time in the story? Like, I don't know.
I don't think so.
No, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it will take a long time, because they're not like I think they may already be branded as Jaegerists already in a sense.
True.
So everyone, and a lot of the people seem to be kind of rallying around Aaron anyway, or like this idea. so I don't know, like I don't think it would be too difficult to make them believe that they're part of them, and then when the timing is right, fight back or whatever, rise up, as he puts it.
Sure.
But maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, no. I think that does make sense, because these guys did beat up Shadis in front of Flock earlier in this arc, and that kind of proved their loyalty to the Jaegerists, even though they're not loyal right now. So yeah, you're right. They do have a little bit of a history with that. Yeah, and then on to one of the bigger scenes in this chapter, the one between Armin and Mikasa.
It feels to me like we haven't seen much of these characters in a while.
Not in a while. I think in the past few chapters we've been getting some good Armin and Mikasa screen time. But before the rumbling, there was hardly anything really.
Right.
Except bits and pieces.
But this is a very good character moment between the two, particularly Armin, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
For sure. But the stuff that's about Mikasa is also pretty interesting in this, I think. Like, when she's like, what should I do? And she's like, what about Eren? Like, those when she says those things, like, I feel the same fury that Armin gets. Like, I'm just like so sick of that whole thing that Mikasa's got going. Like, come on, just let it go. Like, think for yourself. I think Armin even says exactly that. Like,
he does.
Like, and it's so, like, it's very nice to see Armin speak his mind like that. And I think a lot of the readers and fans agree with him. Like, because Mikasa, while she is I think she's a good character, she has this issue where she doesn't really do anything by her own, like, initiative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that, and I think, like, that would be a good, when she starts thinking for herself, that would be a good moment for her. But at the same time, I personally think this is more Armin just losing it because he doesn't know. These are questions that he feels like he should answer. He should have the answer to. Like, what should I do? Like, Armin's supposed to be the brains. He's supposed to know what's going on. And this is why he later on says that Erwin shouldn't have been the one to been transformed into the Colossal Titan. And then, he doesn't know what to do about Eren. He has no idea how to process this event. And so he's frustrated beyond all belief. And Mikasa being the one that can't take the initiative at this point, I mean, as much as people would probably want her to, she, it kind of just, like, causes Armin to snap. But I do agree. I think it'd be great if there is a upcoming moment where Mikasa decides for herself what she wants to do. And I think she will, as I think there's a little hint at what's going to happen at the end of this scene.
Oh, yeah.
But we can. I don't want to go there yet until we've finished talking about Armin's thing.
Right. So, and something else about this. So now Armin has had this kind of snap, as we, definitely like a snap, saying probably what he feels about Mikasa to her. Like, it's like, because I imagine this doesn't come from nowhere. This is something that's probably been on his mind before, but that he hasn't said out loud because they're friends, and, like, maybe he doesn't want to. I mean, I don't know. I don't know exactly how tight they are, but they are close friends. Like,
oh, of course they're close friends.
They're very close friends, and so the fact that these words have come from Armin now, and they came from Eren earlier in this arc during the table scene, as we call it, the one with the main trio plus Gabby. Yeah. Like, Mikasa has heard these words, or these kinds of
critique.
Yeah, this critique from both of her best friends at this point, and so maybe this is going to tip her over to maybe trying to take initiative on her own.
She is very much a character that acts in response to other people.
Well, yeah.
And these two interactions, hopefully, give her an idea that, again, she should take responsibility and initiative for her own actions in the future. So I hope that she has a moment to herself later that shows this. But we'll just have to wait and see.
Right. But yeah, and Armin, of course, this plan that he's got going now, that he's going to go with Gabby to try to help
Stop Coney, basically.
help stop Connie. Yeah, it's such a typical Armin kind of plan. I feel like it works. It's like perfect for his character to do something like that, and it makes me really happy.
You think so?
I think so. I really
don't
do.
know. I think he's just at a loss at what to do. And he's like, well, this is the only thing I can do at this point, so I'm going to go do it.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the early moment when Eren is being held at gunpoint after he first turned into a Titan, and it's up to Armin to save the main trio's life. He doesn't have many options, so he just rushes up to them and he salutes and he says whatever comes to his mind. It's kind of a similar thing where he doesn't have that many options. This is something he knows has at least a small chance of succeeding in some way.
Yeah.
Nor the options, nor the time.
It makes sense,
Right.
yeah.
I mean, I appreciate his resolve. I do, and this is the right thing to do. But I also think he's kind of avoiding the whole Eren situation, like because he doesn't know what to do, and at the very least, I know I can do something if I go help save Falco,
Precisely.
and help Gabby in that way. I can earn her trust. So I mean, so he is taking steps forward and he is trying to do something, but at the same time, it is very much almost putting off the inevitable, or what actually needs to be done is, well, I mean, I don't know, is it stopping Eren or is it helping Eren?
Exactly,
I don't know.
and I think since Armin doesn't know that, well, first of all, he doesn't know what's right or wrong, especially
Right,
exactly.
of course, yeah.
And second of all, he doesn't know. Like, if he thought it was wrong, he wouldn't even know what to do about Eren right now.
Right, totally.
Like, so there's both
agree.
of those very, very major issues right there. And so, and as you said, then the one thing that he does know what to do is going to try to save Falco. And I think in his mind, like, if the rumbling succeeds and everyone outside of Harady is successfully killed, then the best thing to do is to build bonds with the people that are on the island, and that's
a
what
good
he's
point.
doing.
Yeah.
Because gaining trust from Reiner and Piek, for example, it's going to be much easier if he has the complete trust from Gabby.
That's true.
So it is a good plan.
I don't know. I wonder if he is thinking that far ahead. I mean, of course, he
think so.
is wanting to gain Gabby's trust and all their trust, but I don't know if it's like so much like the trust to work together and live in peace after Eren destroys all of mankind except for the people on the island. I think it's more so we can come together and potentially stop Eren if needs be. But
That could be another thing, possibly. Yeah, possibly. Either way, he wants to build bridges between the different sides.
Yeah, that's
Like,
fair. That's
regardless
that's true.
of what happens, that's something he's trying for anyway. I think, and I love this moment because it's kind of what I've been waiting for. We talked a little bit about it in the previous chapter discussion, where I've been waiting for Armin to come up with some kind of plan, anything, like to take action and do something that he's thought of, and this kind of is that. Like, it's not a master plan by any means, but it is something, and I think it's really nice to see this.
It's so funny that you say that, because I mean, I agree. I mean, I'm glad to see him doing something, but then he goes and says, "Oh, well, I wasn't the one that should have been brought back to life."
True.
And he himself still doubts it, and there has to be a moment where he just where he realizes, or he comes up with the master plan and proves to himself and everyone that he was the one that needed to be brought back.
Yeah, I really hope for that too.
And I think this kind of sets that up.
Yeah.
Is my mind. Anyway, I hope
for sure.
that made sense.
Absolutely. No, I agree. Like, this is a good plan that he's got right now, but obviously, as I said, it's no master plan, but the master plan is hopefully coming. Like, that's going to be good.
He's setting himself. He's basically setting his future self up for some sort of master plan.
Yeah.
That he just doesn't know. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, he
Like,
doesn't have it yet.
He's giving himself the best potential, the best possibility. Anyway, I'll stop talking about it. I agree with you.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Yeah, it's really sad to see him kind of break down over not only the stress from like trying to keep track of everything that's going on and every person that he knows on the island and everywhere. Like he's like so stressed out over all of that. His mind is like so overworked, and also the realization that shit, I wasn't worthy of being picked over Aaron Smith. Like there's so much like mental trauma right now, and yeah, it's really sad to see.
Yeah. He says we're in no place to think about Aaron. He's a lost cause, as he's yelling at Mikasa, or he's a lost cause, and clearly, yeah, like Mikasa needs to understand that, but I do think that that's not the case. I understand there's a lot to think about, but at the same time, just ignoring the problem is not going to make it go away. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
And perhaps that's why he feels down on himself, is that he doesn't know how to stop it, or he doesn't know what the right path is. But anyway.
Yeah. No, I think you're right about that.
So, do we mind if we move on to the scarf part real quick?
The scarf, yes, of course.
So I've been talking about this for a long time. I always brought it up, and it's happening. I can't remember her name because I'm terrible at names. What is the girl that admires Mikasa? What is her name?
Her name is Louise.
Louise. Poor Louise is... I don't know what her future holds. It's either death or something, or she will be a breaking point for Mikasa at one point. Because I like what you're saying, and I think both of you said it, is that you see growth here, or not growth, but you see potential for growth for Mikasa, where she thinks for herself, and I think that could happen with Louise somehow giving her the scarf back, and there's some sort of interaction that happens between them, and whether that ends up with Louise dying and before giving the scarf to Mikasa, or living and still giving the scarf, I don't know. But I think that there will be a moment where she realizes what she wants to do, and what she wants to do is protect Eren or something related to that stupid scarf. And,
it all comes back to the scarf.
That'll be her big character moment.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's definitely possible, like a good possibility. Like obviously there's going to be something with the scarf. Like that's going to play a key role in some way, and this could be it. That absolutely. I don't have any other ideas myself about that.
I mean, it's pretty I mean, all things considered, it's pretty minor in the grand scheme of things, I imagine. But it will lead to good things it will lead to some character growth for Mikasa, is my prediction. I don't know exactly what, but that's what I'm thinking.
No, I agree. I think that's a very good possibility. And then we got a little goodbye hug or a goodbye interaction between Gabi and Kaya. I think is really sweet.
Yeah.
And Kaya is like I like Mia better. Gabi is weird.
Kaya. Oh my gosh. Girl just spit straight fire.
Right.
Jeez.
And Gabby's reaction to that is priceless too.
Yeah.
This is great.
What? It's kind of a Sasha moment there. I mean, anybody would be mad about that, but that expression just kind of reminds me of Sasha.
Yeah, you're right. Very sweet. Very sweet. Would you like to move on to the next scene?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sure.
So, lo and behold, Eren entrusted his plan to Flock 10 months ago.
I don't believe it.
You don't?
You don't buy it?
I bet he's lying.
I don't buy it either, honestly.
Oh, neither of you buys that? Wow, interesting.
Well, so what I don't buy is that he was going to become the Titan and do the rumbling. I don't buy that he told Floch that, because what Floch says, like he said that he was going to use Zeke to grasp the Founder's power. Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he did say it to him. It just feels like, why would he tell Floch of all Floch, or whatever you pronounce his name? Why would he tell him?
I think it's Flock.
Flock. There you go. Why would he tell him of all people? I guess you need someone to tell your master plan to. But I do think that Flock is using this moment to try to put himself above everybody else and kind of like use his power to control others.
Yeah, he's basically adding leverage to himself.
Right, and I wouldn't be surprised if Aaron doesn't give a hoot about him.
Yeah, no, I think that's a very good possibility because I feel like Aaron knows kind of how to manipulate people when he needs to, and this is definitely a possibility where, an instance where he could have done that. Flock is a very corruptible character. Like he's easily he's an ass licker,
influenced,
basically. Yeah. Like he sucks up to people in power because he wants to taste that power. That's how he's always been. He was that way even before the time split.
Yeah.
He was opposed to like Aaron and Armin and those people before the time split. Because those characters didn't have that much authority at the time, hence why he supported like the higher ups. But in this era, like these 4 years have passed, he's sucking up to Aaron because he knows that with Aaron, Eldia has a better chance of victory and freedom. So he doesn't. He's very much like that. Like he doesn't stay on his side for because of like heart or whatever. He will just join whoever he thinks is going to win. And that's kind of cowardly. And that cowardly manner it kind of shines through in this scene. But it's interesting. He's a really interesting character. I think he's grown a lot.
And maybe Aaron did tell him, but like you said, I think he's all about the power, and I do think he's just kind of trying to, enforce some sort of power on other people so he can, be the boss, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
But anyway, I agree that he hasn't grown in a good way per se, but it is an interesting. He's much more interesting character now than he was before.
It is a development.
It's a development, yes.
Yeah, I guess that is a better word for it.
Yeah.
And so my first time reading this chapter, or actually both of my first 2 times reading this chapter, I totally missed Yelena because she is actually at the bottom of one of these pages in this scene. I didn't see her until my 3rd read of this chapter.
Wow.
That she's just sitting there, just kind of behind the text boxes. Like she doesn't take any like space here.
I thought that she would like at the end of his big speech she would do something. It felt because he showed her there, and I thought, oh, maybe she's gonna do something now. But nope, she's still the kind of potato that she was 2 chapters ago.
Or last chapter anyway.
Well, she was. It started 2 chapters ago.
Lmaybe it did, yeah. But yeah, there's probably gonna be something with her too. This can't be it for her.
Yeah, I mean, it would be kind of lame if she just kind of loses her mind in that sense and doesn't fight back or do something. So
something like a little bit of a parallel that I see with this scene here is when Flock is kind of forcing the volunteers to side with Eldia. Basically, he's saying, join Eldia, become part of us, or die, or get imprisoned, or like the options aren't very good. So they're basically forced to join Eldia here, these volunteers, and that's basically the exact same thing that Marley does to the Eldians in Marley. Is that they're forcing these people, or they're using these people to fight for them, and that's what Flock is going to do, or what he wants to do with the volunteers. So it's just the same thing, but kind of reversed, sort of.
Yeah, totally.
That was kind of interesting, and I'm loving the gore. The gore. This is
Petter loves the score.
The headshot, the jaw just breaks open.
Yeah,
it's glorious.
Right in front of John's face, and I think that we were talking last time about his character development as well, on how and I thought, how he's so much better than he was. At least I thought at the very beginning. And I'm not saying like he's gone back here at all. It's just it's interesting that he's put in a position where he should be kind of taking the lead, but Flock just kind of just like pushes him aside. It's like, nope, I'm I'm Aaron's spokesperson, and I speak on Aaron's behalf now.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you listen to me. You're not the boss. I am. And you see that right as Mikasa like walks up and sees the dead body, she almost looks like disappointed in him. It's like, why would you let this happen? And he's just like,
Yeah, no, you.
I didn't know this would happen.
Poor Jean.
But he does give a kind of like a slight. It looks like a slight glance towards what's his name? I can't pronounce his name.
On Yankopon?
Onyankopon. And it's almost as if I don't know if it's like a kind of like bro telekinesis or something, but maybe they have an idea or maybe they're like, we need to do something about it. I don't know. It just seems like there's something going on right there, but I'm not sure.
Right, no, I agree, definitely. Like, there's something, and I have, like, so someone, I don't remember who, I'm really sorry if someone wanted credit for this, but someone on a different server that I'm on kind of saw a thing. It might just be overanalyzing it. There's a very good possibility that it is. And this goes kind of into some deep visuals here, but it's that page where Onyankopon and Jean are looking at each other with that thing, and Jean is like, what did you just call me? Because well, so Flock is very much insulting Jean here, like right before this.
Totally.
It's very unpleasant. And so if you look at that page where Jean, and that specific panel where Jean is saying, what did you just call me? There's a pile of rocks like right next to his hand on the floor.
Okay.
And on the next panel where we can see that area, those rocks are gone. Maybe it's overanalyzing. But what if John picked those rocks up because he's going to smack him into Flock's face or something? I mean, I don't know. It would be very satisfying if he did that.
I think that's looking too much into it, personally.
It definitely might be. I agree.
It could be. If you look like panel to panel, like there's a panel above where he asks him, what did you just call me? And you look at the rocks, they don't match up with any of the rocks really that are down below where he says, I'm sorry, but Zeke killed them. Like, they don't really match up. So that just could be a slight inconsistency. Or maybe he has grabbed the rock and something's about to go down right there.
Yeah, so I feel like it's like, and if that is the case, which I'm not saying it definitely is, but if it is, then that could have been what the little gaze between Jean and Onyankopon was about. Like Onyankopon was like, oh, I see what you're doing. But I guess we'll see in the next chapter.
Yeah.
Could be.
I definitely think. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just gonna say, maybe we're gonna say the same thing, but I think Flock has something coming for him, and it's not a good thing.
Well, I mean, I agree. I mean, at this point, I wouldn't mind if he dies. I mean, I don't like saying that, but that's. You should never say that. But anyway, I think that the Zekites, whatever you call them, the Resistance, whatever you want to call them, those guys and Jean's group will end up coming together at one point.
That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, and because technically, Flock is the leader of the Jaegerists, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. So I think there'll be a kind of a what's the word? Not anarchy, but I can't think of it. It's like a pirate term when.
Oh, I don't know many pirate terms.
I mean, it's such a simple one. Treason. That's a pirate term. That's a regular term.
That makes sense.
Gotcha.
I think there is another word for it. But anyway, so
like a mutiny.
What'd you say? Mutiny. Yes, it's mutiny. It's mutiny. That's what it is. Yeah. And so basically, Jean will kind of somewhat go along with what Flock is doing, but he'll end up freeing Oyankopon, however you pronounce his name, his group, and then they'll fight back, I assume.
I hope so. I think Jean he's got a big moment coming soon.
Yeah, I agree.
And I hope Mikasa does too. Like, maybe it's going to be somehow connected since they're at the same place right now.
No.
But they're going to do something big together.
No.
Yes.
No. Just John. Just John. Mikasa's gonna do her own thing. She's gonna go somewhere else and have her big moment.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe. Maybe they're gonna meet up with Louise because Louise is also with the Jaegerists.
That's true.
So maybe they're gonna meet. Like she's gonna arrive here soon or something. I don't know.
That's a good point. Oh, what if they fight each other? Oh, She would never do that, right? I mean, not Mikasa, but Louise wouldn't fight Mikasa.
No,
she
right?
She doesn't believe in the Jaegerist movement that much, right?
No, she's like Mikasa Ackerman #1 fangirl.
Right? Oh man. So let's hope it doesn't lead to that. Anyway, so what I was gonna say is I feel like some time is going to a very small amount of time, but some time will pass just because of the little like corner when he says I'm sorry, but Zeke killed them. That kind of corner slant to me it means scene change, but I think it also implies that time will pass. But
it's possible. That's possible.
Yeah.
Moving on to the next scene, I suppose, which is not too long either, but it's pretty interesting. I thought this was a very interesting scene.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess Falco riding with Connie, and Falco has woken up now, but he has no memories of the incident and the transformation and all that.
Right.
And that's super interesting in my opinion.
Why does he have amnesia?
Well, everyone when they transform and become a Titan, they lose their memories around that event.
Really? I did not.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yes. That. Yeah. No. Yeah, that's Titan 101. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I was not aware, but that's good to know. Okay.
Yeah, that's been established.
Yeah, you don't really like remember when you are a Titan. I mean.
Oh, when you are. Oh, I see.
Yeah, like not like a Titan with a power because
if you're like a pure Titan, and then, and I at least, it's been mentioned before, right. And in Aaron's case also like he didn't know about being a Titan until like 5 years after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
So that's happening. Falco has no idea what's going on, but I feel like Falco, given his knowledge in like Titan stuff, he's a trainee for like becoming a warrior, a warrior in Marley and all that. Like he's a pretty capable guy. I feel like with everything that he knows, he should be able to figure out that he knew that he had Zeke's spinal fluid inside of him, and chances are Zeke would have probably screamed. So, and him being in Titan form would have meant that he would have transformed, or him being in human form would have meant that he would have transformed back after becoming one of the 9 Titans, hence explaining his amnesia. So I feel like maybe he would be able to put that together given enough time.
Okay.
Obviously, he's not quite there yet, but he could be close.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he'll get there. He seems pretty suspicious of Coney.
For sure.
Like there's something going down. I don't know. Part of me wonders if Coney will go doing it because someone says that it's not like him to sacrifice a boy like that. Did someone?
Sasha's father.
Yeah.
He said to Gabby, I think that he said something along the lines of Connie is probably going to hesitate, so it will give you time to catch up to him.
Hesitate. Okay, yeah.
I think he said something along those lines.
Yeah.
So I think he's right. Connie isn't just like cold-bloodedly going to do without hesitation. Like that's not like Connie. I
mean, I think when he's on horseback and he's thinking of his parents, I think he's trying to convince himself this is the right thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
At least he's not like reacting without thought.
Right. Yeah, no, he's definitely giving it thought for sure. And I understand him. Like he's relatable. Even though what he's doing I don't agree with, I still can relate to. Like I understand it.
Yeah.
And that makes it even sadder, kind of. It's a sad situation, in the words of Bernie Taupin and Elton John. And it's getting more and more absurd. Anyway. Next scene. And then we shift perspective for the last time in this chapter over to Piek and Magath. So this is the first time we see them after the wall came crumbling down. And these are even though they're not like some of my absolute favorite characters, I still have a soft spot for Piek for some reason. I don't know why. Anyway, it's very nice to see them. and they're pretty much all completely defeated, or like in their mindset anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Until
now listen.
What? Yeah. Yes, please talk.
So
it's true that you have powers. That if you say something won't happen, it's going to happen.
So, I started reading the manga. I don't remember the exact month, but it was like in the summertime of last year. And I obviously did not know at the time that issues were coming out every month. Earlier this week, I actually asked Petter to, because I was going to do a little bit of comparison. I asked Petter to give me like a year or a chapter number for when we last saw Annie before she went into the crystal. That was 2012. That wait does not compare to the 9 months, I believe you said, of having Levi and Hanji finally show up again.
Yeah.
But for me, it hasn't been 9 months. For me, it's been like at least or like around 6 to 8.
Yeah, since you got caught up with the story, I think during the fight in Shiganshina, I think when Reiner and Porco were fighting Eren in Titan forms in Shiganshina, like pretty much right before the rumbling, sort of.
Right.
I think that's where you caught up.
As far as my thoughts on these last few pages, I like to see, Hanji still cracking, a smile. She's had for this half of the manga, Marley onward, she's had a very serious tone to her because she had to fill the role of what Erwin left.
Yeah, she's the commander now. Yeah,
but this is much more of like a nervous. To me, like she's not completely sure on what's going to happen next.
Of course,
to her or Levi.
Yeah.
And we get another look or a look at Levi before the next chapter. He's in pretty beaten up shape.
Yeah, you could say that. Well, we knew that.
Yeah.
So, what was the point of bringing up how long it is since we've seen?
I was just making that small comparison because
it compares nothing to Annie.
I know, because I'm reading the. I said that because I've been reading the manga much less than you guys have, so that's just my personal perspective on the situation.
Just kind of a statement that the wait for Levi was nothing compared to
compared to you guys with Annie. Yeah.
Right. And when I saw this final scene in this chapter, after we had seen Piek and Magath talk for a while, and then we see like this little, we see Hanji in the distance, and like I could tell that it was Hanji just from that tiny little drawing of her, which is like not very clear, but I was like, Hanji! Like, and that
finally,
I just wanted to give her a big old hug. Like, I was so happy to see Hanji again. Even though, of course, it wasn't as long a wait as it was for Annie. But
so even though, like, I'm pretty sure we're not going to get much from Levi, I'm really interested to see how this scene plays out as a whole.
What's interesting now is because at this point in the story, pretty much all of the like high authority, like commander type characters are dead. Pretty much all of them. Like we had Zachary, we had Pixis last chapter, Erwin of course, and like Niall Dock also last chapter. So there's been a lot of like those very high up characters, like command characters, dying, and like. Off the top of my head, the only two I can think of are Hanji and Magath, and they are right at the same place right now. They're like the only like high up leaders left, like in the relevant story, unless I'm wrong. But
I would agree.
So I'm thinking, like, with these two minds struck together, maybe there's some good things that could come from that. If they can get along, that is.
I wonder how much Hanji knows about
What do you mean?
what's happening.
I mean, she could just look up and say, "Hey, look, the Ball Titans are marching."
But like, well, I know that, but I'm just like what's the context? Like, how did this start? Because people.
To be fair, she probably wouldn't know that that's Eren, or maybe she would. I don't know.
Well, no, she would, because everyone got this message from
that's
Eren.
right. Everyone got the message.
Oh,
What are
okay.
you talking about?
All Eldians in the world got that message.
Yeah.
Okay, so never mind. I gotcha. All right.
But I'm also thinking that Hanji wouldn't walk up to a Titan shifter without a plan. She's got something up her sleeve, or something in mind. Like, she's got a plan of some sort that she wants to probably share with these guys.
Maybe.
Or something. Like,
Sure.
she wouldn't go up there with nothing in mind.
No.
I agree. And I think that something might just be, hey, we need to just stick together, kind of a thing.
I think
Maybe.
it's also like a plea for help.
I mean, for sure, that's absolutely part of it.
Yeah, but maybe you're right. Maybe she does have like a plan. Okay, this is what we're gonna do, and we're gonna do this. I wonder. I'm glad, it's great to see Levi again. I wonder if he is going to be out of action for the rest of the manga.
Probably
For the rest of the story?
It seems kind of, it just seems kind of like a waste. But I mean, he's not in any condition.
No.
Well, yeah. Who knows? I don't want to believe that he's done
Unless
for.
someone has some sort of healing. I don't
I don't want
either.
to believe that either.
I'd hoped he'd be in better shape than this, but
Yeah.
unfortunately,
I mean, if you
that's
saw the
not
injuries
case.
that he got.
Well, of
from
course, I
the
agree, but
explosion.
I know I was when he come back, I hoped
Yeah.
that he would be better, that he'd be able to do something, but he doesn't look like he's going to be able to do anything.
Yeah, he's a mummy right now.
Yeah,
Yep.
but who knows? I mean, it doesn't help that it doesn't help my like thinking that she's like wrapped him up in rope, like so he doesn't move.
Well, I think it's so he wouldn't fall off the makeshift
that's
carriage.
what I mean. That's what I mean. Not like to restrain him, but just
Oh yeah.
So he
It's
wouldn't
not.
fall
It's
off the
not
carriage.
to restrain him as a negative thing. It's more
Right.
just like, don't have his body move, otherwise he might
Right.
worsen the injuries.
Which means he can't really move. Like,
Right.
well, duh. No, I mean, meaning that if he tries to move, he'll hurt himself even more. You know what I mean? Not like
Yeah.
she's trying to keep him from moving. She's trying to keep him fall off. But what I'm saying is that his injuries are so severe that he won't be able to move.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
I don't think there's a way for him to rejuvenate enough to make all that much of an impact on this finale.
Maybe he'll get a Titan power. Wait, he can't.
You know, I've had that thought too, but it's yeah, it would be crazy if something like that happened again so soon. But yeah, like the thought had crossed my mind as well. So what did you guys think of this chapter overall?
I think this chapter did a very good job at letting us know where the characters are.
Yeah.
Like, there was not a single scene that lasted too long. There were some scenes that were less than 5 pages.
Mm-hmm.
This chapter very much served as alright, here's what we're going to establish where everyone is. So for the next chapter to...
Except Eren.
Well, yes, except Eren, who's still... it's taking him months to form this Titan. Just kidding.
I think he's already formed. I don't think he's in the
Could
city
be.
anymore. I think he's marching.
Yeah, he's probably gone away. Yeah.
It's possible. But at the same time, I don't think time has progressed all that much in this chapter. I think all of these events happen roughly the same time.
Yeah. Like this is all still the same day that that Levi got blasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he hasn't had that much time to get
Heal
good.
himself.
Yeah.
There is that too.
Speaking of characters that we didn't get information on in this chapter, other than Eren, we also have Zeke and Historia, which we
Yeah.
don't really know what's up with.
Yeah.
And the Historia wait is something that I've been eager for a while. And one little prediction that I have for the next chapter is that in line with, so last chapter, the chapter before this, we ended with an Annie tease.
Yeah.
And this chapter we ended with a Levi tease. So next chapter we're gonna end it with a Historia tease. Maybe.
Sure. Because we haven't seen her in quite some time.
Right, exactly. It's been a very long time since we got anything meaningful from her. Like we've seen
I can see that. Sure.
like one little shot of her with a pregnant stomach, but but like we haven't really gotten any scenes with her, anything proper, in a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm dying to see that.
My overall thoughts is I think this is a great build-up chapter. Well, first off, it was great to see Annie and get her character development and see how she's gonna probably meet up with everyone in the end.
Yeah.
But then it also built up a lot of things. We got some character growth for Armin and potential for Mikasa and stuff like that. And then we also finally saw Hanjin and Levi. That's great. What I think is going to happen, his story could be teased at the very end. I think my prediction is that last time I said that we would see Aaron's Titan face, and I think I just said that just out of just say something. Now I'm gonna kind of take the Steven route in predicting that it won't happen, but not because I want to see it. Like I need to desperately see it, but I actually do think. Well, to think about it more, maybe he's gonna save it until someone tries to fight back against Aaron, and then you finally see it.
I think we need someone to confront him.
So until there is a master plan, and personally, my thinking, until Armin comes up with the master plan, I don't think we're going to see that face again. Now, watch Isayama just like throw my theory to die, but that's what I'm thinking. Historia could be where they go with this next. I think there's going to be conflict between the Jaegerists and everyone else. I think that's going to happen next chapter. I don't think they're going to. Well, no, wait a minute. Maybe not yet, because I think we're going to see the Falco, Coney, and Armin and Gabby have their moment, and something will happen there. I think that'll be the main focus of next chapter. That's my prediction.
Other than what's going to happen, or the continuation of this last scene?
Yeah, I mean, I think we could get some continuation. Maybe she briefly says what they were doing, I guess. I mean, I think it's pretty self-explanatory that she was just treating him.
Or maybe just like what her plan is going forward.
Yeah, I'm not sold that she has like a plan right now. I think she's just trying to, regroup, kind of a thing.
Yeah,
that's a possibility.
That's my thinking. But anyway, I think the main focus will be what happens with Falco.
Yeah, I think next chapter is definitely going to. I don't think the next chapter is going to necessarily, at least for the most part, I don't think it's going to like go to any perspectives that weren't shown in this chapter. Like at most, as I said earlier, it may just give us a Historia tease at the very end. But for the most part of the next chapter, I think it's going to elaborate on the stuff that was set up in this chapter. For example, I want to know what's Annie going to do next. Like specifically, what is she going to do next?
Yeah,
that's one of the things.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I think that we won't see her again until she arrives in Shiganshina, and that's gonna take what? How many days? Maybe just one day, or how long does it take? How long does it take?
The horses are pretty fast.
Okay.
It's like 100 kilometers between the walls or so, something like that.
Okay.
But she needs to go through 2 walls, like.
Yeah.
And I don't know exactly, but the horses are very fast. Like they're like genetically engineered horses to be like fast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And another thing that I want to know next chapter, or as soon as possible anyway, is what's going to happen to Keith Chavez. What's that whole thing that they started setting up in this chapter? That's another thing I want to follow up on.
That 2-page scene. Sure.
Exactly. Because that even though it was short, it was very it was important.
Yeah, it's pretty important.
Now, I need you guys to, because I don't have the official translation in front of me right now. You know how every chapter ends with like a tagline or like a little tease sentence?
Yeah. In the official translations, I think they take those away for some reason.
Oh, then never mind. Because the unofficial translation that I have here says, "A soldier shall not die until he gives meaning to his life."
Yeah.
And that's in reference to Levi. So maybe he does have something to play in the future.
The thing is, I actually talked about this with some people on a Discord server that I'm on,
Okay.
and I learned that a more accurate translation of that, apparently, is that it's something along the lines of, "This man cannot rest until he gives meaning to that soldier," which would be Erwin. Like,
Yeah.
something about Levi can't rest until he gives meaning to Levi or to Erwin's death.
Okay. That also makes sense. That's a good takeaway from it too. It's just that I did want to point that out. So
And right. But and if that's gonna lead somewhere, that would be awesome. With maybe potentially another showdown between Levi and Zeke.
could be if he can recover.
Because that's what Levi promised Erwin before Erwin died was, "I will bring down the Beast Titan. I promise."
Yeah. So in that case, there has to be some payoff.
But
to
I
that,
mean,
maybe.
gosh, like, how is that gonna happen? And if this is supposed to end in like what 5-6 chapters, if that, how is that all gonna happen?
I
Right.
don't know.
I don't know.
But I was just gonna point that out.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's supposed to mean that he's going to live a somewhat long life. You know what I mean? Like, not just die, prematurely, but treasure the opportunity that Erwin kind of gave him.
He's gonna become an old man and die of old age.
I mean,
Old man
maybe that's
Levi.
an un-Levi thing to do, but
There you
I don't
go.
know. Like, it just seems like he's not in the place to kill anybody or fight anybody.
No.
Then again, this is Levi we're talking about, and he has been known
true,
to
he's a beast.
surprise us. Yeah,
He's a freaking awesome beast.
right.
So, I would not mind.
Never say
and-
never, I guess.
Yeah, I would not mind to see him kick butt one more time. Like,
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I can't see him not fighting a Titan though. It has
Right.
like but I mean, how can it be Zeke? Like, it's got to, I don't know. Like, at this point, it's like Aaron's like the only one who would seem like an antagonistic Titan to fight.
Yeah.
And anyway,
Pretty much. No,
that'd
you're
be
right.
so tragic if Aaron basically is the antagonist of this all. And oh man, but hey, it would be a good story, I guess.
Aaron very much is the villain right now. He fills
Yeah.
that role currently,
Yeah.
like 100%.
But it was so funny. We were saying that, but then like, we were saying that before the whole memory thing, going
Yeah.
through the Tag on Titan or the Tagging Titan memory, but then we got to Ymir, and then we're like, oh no, he's actually really good. He wants to help her,
Yeah.
and now we're back. We're back to how evil.
It just goes to show how
I don't know.
Isayama like toys with our impression of Aaron.
Thing is, though, even though I think Aaron is the villain right now, I don't think he's evil.
Right. I mean, there's a difference
Okay.
between being evil and the antagonist.
Right.
Sure.
Because everything he does with, I think, very good reason.
Right.
Or he does back up his choices.
I mean, and he's doing it. He's doing it to protect the people he cares about.
Yeah, and he's defending himself and the people he cares about from people that want to kill him and the people that he cares about. Which, it's a very
and
natural thing.
People want to take away his freedom,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Yeah.
All that. Another thing that I want from the next chapter, of course, related to what this chapter built up, of course, is Mikasa's scarf. What's up with that?
You think we're gonna get an answer to that in the next chapter?
I think
So-
it's a possibility.
It's a possibility,
Okay.
but if my theory of the Jaegerists conflicting with the other people, like there's some sort of conflict between those two, if that ties into Louise, I think that potentially we wouldn't see that until that happens. Like we wouldn't see the scarf until the Jaegerist contention or the resistance like fights back or whatever.
Yeah, but I think that there's a possibility that that's going to go down next chapter, and then we would also get some more action with John, Mikasa, and Flock, and that's also something
I'm down
I
with
want more
that.
of.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
And the second to last thing I have in my lists of things I want.
Ugh.
The second to last thing is I want to know what's going to happen with Connie and Falco, and by extension, Armin and Gabby. Like whatever's going to go down over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, because I think there's a good possibility that we will get a decent chunk of the next chapter being that, maybe, possibly. There's the thing is though, there's so many like side stories kind of going on at the same time right now. But I think that one's a good possibility. And one thought that occurred to me is like, with all these Wild Titans walking all over the place right now,
Oh.
what if one of them crushed Connie's mom?
Yeah.
Like before when they get there, she's just gone.
Oh, but that okay. So yeah, that would be like heartbreaking for him. But it would feel like the whole moment was just all for naught. Like
Yeah.
it was almost like filler that they went.
It would be very anticlimactic.
Yeah, anticlimactic. Thank you. But I guess I could
Like,
be.
I don't think it will happen. I just think it would be kind of funny, kind of silly.
Okay.
It would be sad and like, oh,
Yeah.
what kind of
Okay. Well,
And then the last thing in my things I want list is, of course, everything that's going to happen now with Hanji and Piek and Magath. Like, what are they going to do?
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of good potential having the team up with Hanji and Magath, like being on a team together. I think if they can just get along, that they have great potential to do some great things. So,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think to me the extent's just going to be they're just going to get along, and go into the city and meet with other people. I think that's the extent of it, really. But hey, I could be wrong.
I really want it to be something more than that, but I guess we'll see.
Oh, I mean, I'd be totally down if it was something more than that. But I'm just like keep my expectations.
Because these 4 characters that are in this final scene in this chapter, they're all characters that I, for various reasons, rather like. So yeah, I guess that's a reason why I want some extra boom in this.
boom. Okay.
You want some badonkadonk in their story?
Yes, you know it.
Okay.
So, and something else I just thought of, like, that would be really nice, like maybe not next chapter, but eventually, is to have a scene with Annie and Reiner, like them catching up, kind of, in some way.
Yeah, I mean, I think eventually we'll get that.
Oh, that's another character we didn't see this chapter.
Right.
Yeah,
But we know where he is anyway. Like, we didn't
Yeah.
really need him this chapter. But yeah.
He's eating his bread and apples, whatever.
or he's just sleeping.
No, yeah, I was joking. He's just sleeping.
But the bread and apples are great. Like, he's set for days. But yeah, like, I think that could be a really nice scene. And I also think, like, both Reiner and Annie have kind of had a progression where they've kind of grown into something relatively similar. Like, before, earlier on in the story, they were very different as characters, but right now they're more aligned with one another and like on an emotional level, and kind of, I feel like an interaction between them would be really nice.
Yep.
Sure.
So I guess my last prediction thing is that we are.
How many last predictions are
This
we
is your third last one, man.
I know, but this is my last one, and
Alright.
that means that's for real.
That's definitive? Okay.
Yeah. So
What do you
in
got?
addition to everything else I've said, there were 3 characters that we didn't see this chapter that and that we don't like really know the exact whereabouts of, at least from what I can think of off the top of my head, and those being Historia, Aaron, and Zeke. Historia, as I said, I think she's going to be like a teaser for like the last page or few pages in the next chapter, but I don't think we're going to see either Aaron or Zeke in the entirety of the next chapter.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree with that.
They're both going to be saved for
that's
a later point.
That's what I was saying. Actually, yeah, it's we won't see them yet.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm not even actually sure what Zeke is doing at this point.
I don't know
Right.
either.
Maybe he's just crying. I don't know.
He's still lying on the floor, like face down, or a ground. Oh my god.
I want my daddy. I want my daddy.
Oh, little Zeke. I think that might be a good place to round it off, unless you guys have something else to talk about.
Story's still going great, I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Really like it.
Like this chapter was similar in a way to the previous one, in that like in what it was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they were both like setup chapters, but I enjoyed this one far more than the previous one.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
So great chapter, very very good. Isayama keeps on delivering masterpiece chapters every month, and
Mwah.
I feel blessed.
We are very blessed right now.
We are.
So very well. Thank you to whoever listened to this. Thank you so much, and we'll see you all in 1 month or so, where we will talk about chapter 126. Bye bye.
Bye.
Woot.